Sean Solis asks, toilet paper rolled over or under? Always over. Always. I have to go back there and fix this every couple of weeks. Some jackass comes in here and flips them to the under position. I won't have it. I won't have it. I will not tolerate it, and I change it every time I see it. I change it in public restrooms. Over. How much will my vertical jump improve on your program? Well, that's an interesting question. This comes up all the time. The answer is not very much. Furthermore, your vertical jump will not improve very much on anybody's program because vertical jumps do not improve very much. Power production is the ability to display strength quickly. Those of you who are in the average category, 22, 24, 25, who have trained real hard for a long time, know this. Know what I'm going to tell you. All right? Because I've had this experience, and I'm quite sure you have too, while trying to clean. Paying very, very close attention to get your cleans and your snatches better. You have probably been faced with the realization that you just can't make the bar move any faster. You know you need to make the bar move faster during the middle of the pull. You know where the acceleration should take place. You're concentrating on it very hard. You're young, you're strong, you have excellent body awareness, you have excellent technique, and you realize that the limit here is your ability to contract your muscles faster. You think about it, you concentrate, and you just can't do it. And those of you that have had that experience know that all of the practice in the world, all of the foot drills and the rate of force development, distraction, bullshit that you can dream up to do will not make you any faster. That's because explosion is limited by your genetic makeup. It is why we do the vertical jump test. Vertical jump, the standing vertical jump is what I'm specifically referring to. The standing vertical jump is an extremely specific and extremely valuable test that identifies the genetic capacity for explosion. It is essentially techniqueless. There's no real technique involved in it. There's no way to cheat it unless you don't reach up as high as you can to establish the baseline height for your reach. The standing vertical jump is the measured difference between your upreached hand, as high as you can, and that upreached hand at the top of you jumping up and slapping the veins of a vertex, or putting a chalk mark on the wall. The reason the vertical jump test is used is because it cannot be improved with practice, because there's nothing to practice. There's just not any technique to it. You reach up, you reach down, jump up, and the measured difference is the value. It is an indicator of your ability to do one very, very specific thing, which is accelerate your body's mass to the point where your body weight achieves sufficient momentum to carry it up off of the ground. And the distance that it is carried up off of the ground is measured by the distance at the upreached hand. So it is a measure of your ability to put enough motor units into contraction in the period of time during which the counter movement takes place, far less than a second. And that number of motor units that come into contraction is the indicator of how quickly you can explode. And unfortunately, this thing is controlled by genetics. It's controlled by the quality of muscle tissue, by the quality of all of the proteins in the sarcomere. It's controlled by nervous system components that, as we know, don't adapt. Since they're very specialized, they don't adapt very well. They don't heal very well when they're injured. Several other things that have to do with genetics. Vertical jump, the standing vertical jump, is every bit as genetic as red hair. You either have it or you don't. That is why the NFL includes it in their battery of tests at the combine. The point is not to mess with the vertical jump, train it, game it, do all this other stuff, because that's not what it's for. It's to identify a set of genetics. If you've got a 38-inch vertical jump, you are fundamentally different than the guy with a 22-inch vertical jump. And you're fundamentally different from the guy with a 12-inch vertical jump. The whole range of human performance is seen in a vertical jump test. People with 12-inch vertical jumps are just not explosive. People with 22-inch vertical jumps are average. People with 38-inch vertical jumps are freaks. We want to hire the freaks. We're looking for the freaks. If we're only going to hire a few people, we can hire the freaks. That's what the vertical jump test identifies, is the freaks. We don't train the vertical jump test because there's no point in it. We only do it once. Is if you jump 38, you're a freak. We want to hire you. Okay, so backing up now. The question is, how much will my vertical jump improve on your program? And the answer is very little, because the power equation is force times distance over time. Okay? Distance in a vertical jump is not much of a variable. There's really not much difference between a 22-inch vertical and a 24-inch vertical, or a 25-inch vertical in terms of the math of the denominator. The force times distance on top is therefore a variable in that force is the variable. Time, as I've just said, does not vary. The time doesn't vary. You cannot take a slow person and make them into an explosive person because of the genetic constraints involved in this. The thing you can improve in force times distance over time is force. Force is force production, which is strength. When strength goes up, vertical jump goes up a little bit. But a person with a 22-inch vertical who can get very, very strong will still, even after he's very strong, never be very explosive, because that's not the way explosion works. Okay? So, if you're doing a strength program to improve your vertical, it's not going to work very well. The best strength coaches in the country tell me that if they can put 3 inches on a kid's vertical jump in the 4 years he's at their program in college, that's a freak. This just doesn't happen very often. It's usually 1 or 2 inches. And that kind of an improvement is typical. But nobody improves 50%. It doesn't occur. The only place that occurs is the same place this is occurring, on the internet. Instagram, ZagWogTech asks 4 questions, rapid fire. First, filet or ribeye? Sirloin. 2, hardcover, paperback or e-reader? Paperback. Angelina Jolie or Jessica Biel? Raquel Welch. Most embarrassing guilty pleasure. Oh, well, that's not embarrassing, though. Porn. Hold it, that's not embarrassing either. Have to think about that one. Can't do that rapid fire.